Hello, this is Mark from Enchantment of Eternity, and if you're watching this, you probably know that. Know who I am. Hey, how's it going? So for those who support my channel and want to support my channel more, I have created a Patreon page, so those who want to support me can donate via Patreon. Yeah, so it's been a while. Actually, I've had some of my viewers request Patreon for quite some time, and I see Nayuk Burma. Sorry, I butchered your name. Sorry about that. But I've seen you. Hey, how's it going? You're in the chat. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of people do Patreon. I frankly been a bit lazy about it, and it's kind of silly because when people say, hey, let me give you money, I want to give you money. It's quite silly to just ignore that. But the thing is that I've never been I totally because I'm doing it myself now, so I can't criticize other people for doing this, and I totally understand the need to be supported when doing something like this. But I'm a bit off-put by some of the channels that push their Patreon a bit too much to kind of make me feel like I'm inferior because I'm not a patron and I don't donate to them. So I never wanted to make anyone feel that way. I never wanted to be like Patreon, 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 Patreon. But I do want to have that option there for anyone who does want to contribute to the channel, because look, like I said in my Patreon page, time is money, and if you're able to donate for me and I'm able to get by, that's more time I can spend making videos rather than working my other job, which is frankly what I'd prefer to do. I'd rather spend that time making content for you guys to enjoy. So yeah, totally up to you if you would like to join. I put the link in the description below for my Patreon page for anyone who does feel like you can donate $1, or $1 is the minimum. I would have put it lower, but that's the minimum that they'd let you do, and that's fine. I totally understand again how people are hard up for money, and if you can become a patron, you just want to support the channel just by liking the videos and watching whatever, that's great too. I'm not gonna complain on that. Any support is good support, but now you have the option if you want to. Now I want to talk a bit about the rewards, because I want to make sure to add rewards in there for those who do donate, because I want to make sure and make it sort of worth your while. So with the blanket rewards for anyone who donates $1 or more is I'll be doing a series of videos for patron only videos where I'll start it off. The video series I'll be doing to begin with is my top 3 favorite director's cut movies and my bottom 3 worst director cut movies. So I'll do this in as a sort of a 6-part video series where I'll release one of my rankings every month. So at the start of each month, I'll make a short little video with my, here's my number 3 worst. I think I'll start with the worst ones first. And this is an idea I've been kicking around forever, but haven't been really had the motivation. I've been wanting to do it, but I've been so busy with other videos. And I think that actually goes a lot with a lot of these movie ideas that I have. They tend to get pushed to the side because the TV shows are a bit more important. So a lot of the sort of Patreon only videos I'll be doing will probably be movie centered, because that's the stuff I don't really have time for otherwise. Hey, Colonel Doomsday in the chat. Hello, how's it going? Cool. So that's what I'll start with. So I'll release, so that will last 6 months. So because I'll release one little segment at the start of each month. And after that, I'll probably move on to a different movie sort of series. But yeah, so I always have a sort of patron only thing going once a month, but they'll be really short, probably not scripted, probably just me speaking off the top of my head like I am now. But there you go, a little bit of an extra content for those who are willing to support me and become a Patreon. And in addition to that, I'll also be sending a schedule. So once a month, I'll send you an email, like every time the donates come through. I think at the start of each month, I'll do it, where I'll send you an email with a schedule of all the videos I have planned for the coming months, as well as a link to the video. And so basically, like, I find it, funny that sometimes people will assume I just do videos on a whim. Like, I just do it off the top of my head. Like, I read there's this like YouTube wiki, and the description with me is like, oh, he does Game of Thrones, Star Trek, and whatever he feels like it, or whatever else he feels like doing. It makes it seem like I just make up stuff off the top of my head, but I don't. I actually have everything planned well in advance. I've been doing this for years now, actually, where I'd have a written down schedule of all the videos I plan on doing and do through a week. But it's always in flux, which is why I never really shared it with anyone before, because it is constantly subject to change based on my availability. Like, sometimes I'm not able to watch what I need to watch, so I have to push it back, which is what happened with the Star Trek Voyager Season 2. I was supposed to do that this week, but I had to push it back to next week because I was too busy doing my Game of Thrones rewatch that I didn't have time to get to Season 2 yet. And stuff like that happens. Or maybe I have a video scheduled to come out on Wednesday, but I'm too busy or too lazy or whatever, and it doesn't come out till Friday instead, and stuff like that. But for the patrons, I decided I'll go ahead and share the schedule anyway, and I'll just have a little asterisk, a little note that it is subject to change, and don't take it as if it's written in stone. But it'll give you, fans of the channel who like following me, give you more of an idea of what's to come on my channel and what to expect in the coming months. In fact, I usually have it for a couple months in advance, but the further down you go, the less reliable it is and the more subject to change it is, whereas the more recent ones are pretty solid for the most part. But again, I make no promises. Let's check in with the chat. See, sorry, I don't want to butcher your name again. Says, I like to sponsor different channels every couple of months since there are so many great ones out there. I'll make sure you are next. I've been following you for a while. Great content. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And again, that's very much appreciated. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, you have to do it every month. If you just want to do it for 1 month, that's great. Any support is very much appreciated, and I do appreciate saying I have good content. That is very good to hear. And Iron Throne question: create a Twitter account to make it easier for people to send feedback and such. All right, I don't know. I just don't like Twitter. I have created a Twitter account, but I don't really use it yet. I just went on a couple of weeks ago or whatever, but I haven't. Actually, I don't utilize it. I'm just not a Twitter guy. Look, if you want to send me feedback, there's always, you can post on my channel. There's an option for the channel update, or I'm on Facebook. Like my page on Facebook. I'm sorry, I'm a bit of a geezer. I'm still stuck in 2009 using Facebook, but I don't know. Maybe one of these days I'll get more into Twitter. But at the moment, I just don't get it. But I don't know. That's just me. But yeah, you can always message me on YouTube or Facebook or whatever, on because of Enchantment of Eternity Facebook page. What and Jerome says, "Oh, perfect timing. I'm at work pooping." Okay, great to know, Jerome. And Colonel Doomsday says, "I'm your first patron." Well, thank you so much, Colonel. Very much appreciated. And Iron Trend says, "Can you write first on Patreon floor?" Twitter is like the YouTube live chat, except it's more permanent. Yeah, that's scary. Yeah, I don't know about that. Anyway, yeah. So those are the rewards. If you donate any amount of whatever you want to donate, then I will send you each time you donate. Like if you only do it for 1 month, then I'll just do it for the 1 month. But you'd have access to all the videos that I have made thus far, though, in that month. So, so I'll do my 6-part, 3 favorite director cut movies and 3 least favorite director's cut or extended versions, either or. Sometimes they're not the same thing. Sometimes they are. And for my 3 least favorite, for the worst ones, they're actually movies that I love. In fact, some of them are my favorite movies of all time, but I can't stand the director's cut or the extended version. So it's funny. It's a funny way to look at it because some movies actually are improved by extending it and adding more, whereas others, they kind of fuck it up. And one movie in particular, I think, did, like, the directors themselves loved it, and like, this is our version. The other theatrical version was bullshit. It's not what we wanted. I think the version is shit. I think the theatrical version, the studio stepped in for a purpose, and what the directors wanted to do was pretentious garbage. But anyway, you can sign up, become a patron, and you'll learn more of which movie it is I'm talking about and what's going on there. Okay. So that and the schedule. And if you don't want to receive the schedule, just let me know. I won't send it to you. I don't want to spam your email or whatever. But if you do, if you want like a little insight of what's coming up, then I'll go ahead and send that to you. And again, it's ultimately changing. So a little asterisk there. But if there's a second tier reward, if you want to donate $10 or more, then I will give you the option of requesting a video for me to do. Now, you'll probably be saying, well, I could always request at any time, but I'm sorry, but the cold truth of the matter is because of what I was just talking about, of how I have a really rigid schedule that's worked out months in advance, I typically don't take requests because that just adds on, or I have to rearrange the schedule, or I have to make it add on my workload. So I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but I tend to not take requests as much. Like sometimes, like, you don't have to become a patron to make a request, but you're just taking your chances. Like sometimes though, like someone requests something, I'll be like, that does sound really cool. That really hits my fancy. So I try to find a way to work it in, but that's actually rare. Whereas with this patron option, if you donate $10 or more, then I will do it no matter what. Well, not no matter what, because I do have some conditions which I'll get into shortly. But if your request doesn't meet my conditions, then I'll give you the chance to offer up another request that does meet my conditions, and I will be committed to doing that video on my main YouTube channel. Now, I'm not just talking about patrons only, mind you. Like, I'll do the video on my main YouTube channel by the end of the month. So a month from when you make the request. That's if you donate $10 or more. And I didn't do it to do $10 or more to try to be like, try to make you donate more. It was more of just like, as I said, my schedule's pretty full. So I don't want just anyone being able. I want to try to limit the amount of requests because I do want to be loyal and stick to the request. If you request a video, especially if you're donating $10 or more, hell, I'm definitely going to do it. So so I'll be committed to doing it by the end of the month. So let me check in with this chat real quick. What's going on in the chat? Colonel Doomday says, I'm with you, Mark, on Twitter. Scares the crap out of me. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I was against Facebook at first for the same reasons. I don't like I don't know, I ramble and I talk for a long time or type really long paragraphs. So, like, you can in Facebook, you can type really long paragraphs, but on Twitter, they have, like, the character limit. Only allowed to, like, just spit out your garbage thoughts. I don't know. It just never appealed to me personally, but maybe I'll get into it later. Who knows? And then she says Twitter is like the Dorn of social media. Well, Dorn in the TV show, Dorn in the books is actually cool. Anyway, let's see. Oh, Marilyn Bentley, how's it going? And she just says that I'll be a Patreon for sure. Well, thank you so much. Your support is always appreciated. So, back to the requested video reward. So if you do, so the conditions for that is I can't require more than 3 hours of research for me to do. For example, like if you say review this movie, that's fine. Even if it's more than 3 hours, I'm just saying as a rough estimate. Yeah, just if you want me to review one movie I haven't seen, then that's fine. I'll go out and watch the movie. And if you want me to review one episode I haven't seen or haven't seen in a while, that's fine. I'll go out and watch the episode and I'll do a review for it. But if you want me to review an entire 7-season long TV show, then that would require hours and hours of review. So unfortunately, that's too time consuming. So I'd have to take something like that off the table, even if it's something I had seen before, but I hadn't seen in a while. So in order to do a review on it, I would need to watch it again, such as, for example, Babylon 5. That would take forever to watch. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to rule that stuff out. And also, yeah, even if it's like a 8-episode show, even if it's only one season of 8 episodes, that's still too much. Like, it has to be 3 hours or less. Or if it's like a 3.5-hour long movie, I'll give you a pass on that. But basically, not something that's going to eat too much of my time, because part of the purpose of doing Patreon is to save myself time, not to, But I do. But otherwise, I will try to stay sort of loyal to whatever it is that you request. And of course, if you're a Star Trek fan and you're doing the Star Trek episode request reviews, and I have a policy where it's 1 episode per person. Of course, this Patreon thing supersedes that. Doesn't matter if you want to review you want me to request another episode review them, fine, whatever. So basically, and it would be good if it's relevant to the stuff I cover on my channel, like the shows that I typically cover, like Game of Thrones, Star Trek The Expanse, whatever. But if you want me to cover anything outside of that, then that's fine. As I said, as long as it doesn't require too much research. If you want me to do like a top 10 or something, then that's cool too, as long as I can do it without having to rewatch. If it involves something like that I haven't seen enough of, then I'll tell you, like if you request one of my favorite to least favorite Fast and Furious films, I've never seen a Fast and Furious film, so I'd go back to you and say, sorry, I haven't seen them. And like I said, I would watch one film, but not like all 7 or 8, how many fucking of those things are. So if it's something like that, I'd have to turn you down and give you another chance to do something else. But if it's something like, what are your favorite Star Wars films? Well, that's easy. I don't need to watch Star Wars again. I know this from the top of my head, so I can do that. Just for examples. And also, like, not something like, if you want me to, like some of these off-topic things, if you want to know what are your favorite foods to eat or something like that, I'd probably would want to steer clear from as well. I want to keep it to what the channel is about, which is television, sci-fi, and shows and stuff like that. So stick to the basic thing, not like off topic, like want me to do a political commentary on the condition of schools in America or something like that. That has nothing to do with my channel. So try to keep it relevant to what I do and stuff like that. And also, I would also add in like book. Book reviews would be off the table as well, because that would require way more than 3 hours of research to read an entire book. I'm a very slow reader, so unfortunately I'd have to roll that out as well. But yeah, if it's something like very specific, like if it's like something from the Song of Ice and Fire books, but like a specific topic, like you want to talk about the Ghost of High Heart, then all I have to do is read the one chapter, then that's fine. I can read one chapter, but just as long as I don't have to read the entire book. Yeah, so sorry, there are a lot of conditions to this $10 tier. Sorry about that. But it's just basically, I mean, it's pretty open. I just wanted to specify, so people don't get disappointed if I ask them to submit another request. I mean, it's pretty basic though. Just don't ask me to spend too much time, and don't request anything off topic. That's as basic as it gets, and I think that's pretty fair to ask. But other than that, like, yeah, whatever you want to request and review, I'll do it. As long as it meets those conditions, I will do it by the end of the month. Definitely. Whereas if you're not, unfortunately, if you're not a patron, I will most likely turn you down because I'm just too busy and don't have time. But for the patrons, I will make the time. Great. Okay, so let's see what's going on in the chat here. Iron Tron and Cardinal Doomsday says Babylon 5, get hype. Fuck yeah. Well, here's the thing about Babylon 5. That's probably the show I've been requested the most to review. I've gotten the most requests to review Babylon 5. And the thing is, most people who request this are fans of Babylon 5. Therefore, they would actually hate my review on it. I don't hate Babylon 5. I just don't see what's so great about it. Like, I was watching some of Lord of Runners videos, and he's just like, it's the best thing ever. It just seems like a cheesy 90s show to me with flat characters. I'm sorry. I mean, I did really love the season 3 storyline with the war, and especially like the Rebellion Earth. I do think there is intricacies involved, but I just don't think it's great personally. So most people who request Babylon 5 would actually hate what I have to say about it, just to let you know. That's probably why I probably will never do one, because I've been pushing it off for like 4 years now. I just have so much more that I'd rather review rather than doing something I know I'm just going to get a lot of hate on the video, a lot of dislikes, and people arguing with me because people aren't going to like what I have to say about it. But I mean, and again, I don't hate it. I like it. I think it's overrated, to be honest. But anyway, so Iron Tron says basically either a movie or an episode up to 3 hours. Yeah, or you can be sort of inventive and be like, do a top 10 or do something on this subject, like talk about R2-D2 or anything. So it doesn't have to be strictly about like just a movie review or an episode review. It can be like, what are your theories, Star Wars theories on Snoke's or Star Trek or any like stuff I've covered and I've seen. And even if I haven't seen it, as long as it's like a movie or something, I can go watch it. But yeah, so sky's the limit on whatever you want to request. Yeah, Cardinal Doomsday says, Mark, I'm not sure I'd ask you to review a whole series. Well, that's good of you, Cardinal, because a lot of people are different. A lot of people did ask me, and it's not a bad thing though, because sometimes, like, and you don't have to be a patron to do this. I'm always open to suggestions of new shows to watch, because some of my favorite shows, like Mr. Robot and Sense8 and Humans, were suggested to me by commenters, my viewers. They said, "Hey, this is a pretty awesome show. Why don't you check this out?" And some of the shows I've been recommended I didn't like as much, like The Outlander, but some of them I have. So I'm always willing to give it a go if it sounds good to me. Like some of these shows, I can kind of tell they don't look very good. Like the American Gods thing, this doesn't look good to me. I mean, maybe I'll check it out eventually, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem appealing. But if you request something and I look into it and it looks appealing, then I'll probably give it a go when I have the time. It depends. Like now it's Game of Thrones season, so I barely have any time. But after Game of Thrones is finished, I'll have a lot more time to sort of do more stuff, do a bit more quick reviews. Because it was originally my plan to do a different quick review every week of watch a new series, but that just got way too time consuming, so that got pushed to the side. But I might try to get back to something similar in the future. Plus, the quick reviews actually don't get very many views, so it's kind of a waste. Well, not a waste, because any video is good. I don't do videos just for the views, but still, I do. It does make me feel like a bit like I could be spending my time doing other videos, which more people are actually going to watch, and I'll get more feedback on. Let's see. Marilyn Bentley says that YouTube's been blowing up with Game of Thrones. Yeah, I've actually found YouTube at one point was like crashing and it was really slow, and I was wondering if that was because of it was being overloaded with Game of Thrones. Probably, I'd say that. Marilyn Bentley says, one of the reasons I love Mark and Atkin is because they're still on the small side and we can interact more. Not that I don't wish for them to grow. Well, no, I totally get what you're saying, especially some of these channels that are like 300,000 subscribers or millions of subscribers. You try interacting with them, it's nearly impossible in the chat. And plus, you get a lot more like trolls, and like the chats are unreadable, and it's just the comment section is just a fucking mess. But even if you get into some of the other smaller but still bigger than me channels that have like maybe 50,000 or 300 or 100,000 subscribers, even then it could be a bit harder to communicate. Where part of the reason I love doing this is to be able to communicate with you guys easily, and that's part of the reason why a lot of people give me shit about censoring my comments. But part of the reason why is because I take pride in my comment section. I want it to be readable. I want it to be a great interactive community. Trolls are not welcome there. And again, like people will always put up the straw man, oh, you just delete comments you disagree with. No, that's bullshit. There's like half the comments, I mean not half, but a lot of them I personally disagree with, but that's fine. Part of the thing I love is expressing different opinions, whether I agree with them or not. So it has nothing to do with why I delete. I only delete it if you're being a troll or if you're being a jerk or a racist or something like that. Then gone. But other disagreements, love to hear about. Other opinions, love to hear about it. Let's see. Check out the chat again. CRT overloaded. Fifi Max says, how do you like episode 1 of Game of Thrones? Well, you should check out my review that I did for, and my discussion with my brother Apkin Tomka, where I talked about how I liked episode 1 of Game of Thrones. But the short answer to that is I liked it. I thought it was a really great opening episode. It wasn't the best. It wasn't one of the best episodes of the show. It was a bit more setup than anything, but it did a really good job at being a setup episode. And we need a setup episode. So I think everything in the episode was absolutely necessary, but it wasn't great in its own right, but it was very effective in the purpose that it served. Sly Quick says, talk about Game of Thrones, please. Well, ask me Game of Thrones questions, and I'll talk about Game of Thrones. But this video is more about Patreon, so I wanted to get that out of the way first. And Fifi Max says, I think the YouTubers who have a lot of subs only care about people who donate. See, and I don't want to be one of those people. I want to make that clear. Even starting Patreon, I don't want to be like, oh, only the patrons matter, only people donate matter. Hey, just by watching my channel, especially if you like put a positive comment and a like, that's good enough to me. I'm only putting this Patreon option for those who want to donate, because I've had other people saying that they want to donate, and I will, you know, as I said, it'll be stupid for me to say no, you're not allowed to give me money. But if you can, hey, I'm in the same boat. I totally understand. If you can't, I still very much appreciate your support of the channel, just by being a sub and dropping a like every once in a while. Still really great. And Sly Quick says your channel is fantastic. Well, thank you so much. It is actually very good to hear stuff like that, because sometimes dealing with the trolls and the negative comments, it can be a bit disheartening and make me wonder, well, why am I putting so much time and effort if this is all I'm getting back? So it is really nice to hear the support and comments like that, where people do appreciate what I'm doing. So it is very much appreciated. Colonel Doomsday says, I don't think you could be one of those people, Mark. Well, thank you. I'd like to think that. And Sly Quick also says, to my previous comment, when I said I love that, I meant that has a point of view, saying censor troll comments so your channel can be. Oh, well, thank you. That's great to hear too, that you like that I censor the comments, because I've gotten so many people complaining, people who misunderstand the concept of free speech being like free speech. No, you misunderstand. Free speech is about government censorship. I'm not a government, and I'm a private citizen. Private citizens are allowed to censor their domain, and my YouTube channel is my domain as they see fit. And I wish all channels would do that. In fact, especially these bigger, more popular channels are overloaded by trolls. I wish they would hire like a bunch of interns or something to just go in and weed out all the bullshit, because I just have to avoid the comment section altogether, because it's just filled with nonsense. When some of these like million subscriber channels or whatever, I was looking, like Screen Junkies, they make reference to the comment section a lot about all the trolls in there. So I went in one of their videos I was reading, it was just I just couldn't handle it. It's just nonsense. And again, that's another great thing about the smaller channels, that you're able to sort of weed out those trolling and, you know, nonsensical bull crap. So that's great. I'm glad that you actually appreciate that I do that, and do know that pretty much, you know, anyone here in chat, like, I'd never like censor any of your stuff. It's just the trolls, which the racist comments or whatever. Gotten some horrible ones, and thankfully you guys never had to see it, because I just like delete it without even reading it. Marion Blitton says, Mark, we love you. I look forward to all your videos. I've made work excuses to go in my car and watch them. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. That is good to hear. Mad Dodge Production says, what kind of rewards will you be offering? Well, I talked about that for about 15 minutes. So once this video is finished, you can go back and watch that. But I will quickly say, if you donate anything, I will email you a monthly schedule. Every month I'll email you a schedule of all the videos I plan on doing. Plus I'm doing a 6-part video series of my 3 favorite and 3 least favorite director cut or extended version of movies. And if you donate $10 or more, you can get the option of requesting a video for me to review, which I will do by the end of the month. I have certain conditions, which I talked about earlier in the video. You can go back and watch that. Basically, the conditions are it being relevant to what I review on my channel, and then not requiring more than like 3 hours of research in order for me to do it. Basically it. Okay, wow, a lot going on in the chat. Let's see if I can catch up here. Mark for Prime Minister. That would be so much fun. I would never want to be Prime Minister. That sounds so boring. Especially of New Zealand. Like, New Zealand politics is just so petty. They just worry about the most pettiest things. oh, what are we going to change the flag? Don't change the flag. For the record, New Zealand should definitely change their flag. I was really disappointed that they couldn't because it looks just like Australia's. And whenever someone said that, like his proud Kiwi would be like, no, Australia's flag looks like ours. Yeah, it's all well and good to say that, but the rest of the world don't see it that way. The rest of the world don't know who the fuck New Zealand is. They know who Australia is. So they see a flag, they're going to think Australia. But anyway, I'm getting totally off topic here. Let's see. Iron Trent says, yeah, one troll can derail and ruin the fun for everybody else. There's only so much leeway you can give them. Absolutely, totally the case. And Marilyn Bentley says, death of a career Monday is here in the U.S. Impossible for work. Basically should have called out. Yeah. Iron Trent says, yeah, bad flu, car broken. Having a bad day. Hold on. Sorry, I'm a bit behind the chat, just getting caught up. Slight Quick says, Owen Jon Snow's legitimacy, do you think that will be given by Bran or Sansa? And how do you feel it will come about? And do you think it will at all? Oh, I've said this before. Bran, I think, is definitely Bran if you talk about his legitimacy. Do you mean like his heritage? Is that what you're talking about? I'm not entirely sure what you mean by legitimacy. If you mean his Targaryen heritage, I think I'll learn to this through Bran. Other than that, if you mean like him becoming a legitimate leader, I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. I don't know. Let's see. Marilyn Bentley says, I couldn't imagine running a whole channel. I wouldn't be able to compete. It's not too bad. I guess it's good if you're fun, if you're really into it. Watching from Ireland, it's 1 a.m. and trying to stay awake. Well, thanks so much. It is 12 noon here in New Zealand, so yeah, quite the time difference. Yes, and Marilyn Bentley, yeah, there's a reward for $10 more. It's the request video reward. Colonel Doomsday says, "Ha, come live in Australia if you want boring and petty." I really don't think Australia would be more petty than New Zealand, because just by the simple fact that it's bigger and has a larger population. But more to worry about. But that's just my thoughts. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I do follow Australian politics from time to time. Yeah, I admit that can get pretty petty as well. Let's see. Sly Quick says, King the North, his legitimacy to Winterfell and becoming a Stark. I don't know where that's going to come from. Bran or Sansa? I don't know. I think Sansa is going to... I think it's mainly going to be from Arya. I actually reckon. You didn't mention Arya, because I think she will affect Sansa. And Sansa's right now is butting heads with Jon Snow a lot. And I think once Arya gets up in there, it's going to really change the way Sansa looks at things, but that's just my guess. Colonel Doom says, let's wager that, brother. I don't know, because that's really subjective. You can't really quantify how petty a country is. That's just my opinion anyway. Fifi Mac says, what do you think will be the end scene for season 7 of Game of Thrones? The wall coming down, I guess. That's what everyone is saying, so I'll just jump on the bandwagon because I can't think of anything better. I think the wall coming down has been ridiculously foreshadowed in this past episode, with the Maester saying, oh, the wall has been there for thousands of years and it'll be there for 1,000 more. It's coming down. So I do, and that sounds like a last scene of the season sort of event. So that wouldn't, especially, and that sets up the sort of White Walker conflict to be the big thing on season 8. I'm not sure if it will be the entire wall. Like some people don't specify. I think it could just be a tiny little section of the wall that just collapses and then allows like a little passageway for the White Walkers to get through. It doesn't necessarily have to be the entire thing. And that would make more sense to me, but I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. Mitch Corbin says, do you think Arya will go after Cersei in season 8? Yes, I do. And for more information on that, you can check out my season 7 predictions video on Arya. At the end of that video, I do a little season 8 spiel about what I think is going to happen with Arya going after Cersei in season 8. The reason why I threw that out there now instead of waiting for season 8 because it's probably likely something's going to happen in season 7 to make that theory invalid. So I threw it out there just in case. I'll be quite happy and impressed if that theory is still valid by the end of season 7, and if it is, then I'll make a video for it again and be like, here's my predictions for season 8. But something tells me something's going to happen to make that theory invalid, but we'll see. Iron Trent says 7.59 in the petty scale. Exactly. Let's see. Marilyn Bentley says, anyone else just over Sansa? Like for some reason, it's just into her, just not into her, getting on my nerves. It's a lot of people feel that way. Actually, you should talk to Timo, who comes in sometimes. She's a huge Sansa hater. Oh God, she hates Sansa with the passion that burns brighter than the sun. Me personally, I don't have an issue with Sansa. I'm not over her. I'm not sick of her. She doesn't get on my nerves. I'm fine with her. Like I said in my review of episode 1, I feel like her and Jon Snow are they're both right and they're both wrong, and I can see both their points of views. It's more of annoyed by both of them not getting along together, because that's what they learn to work together, and that applies to both. Jon is someone, I just read an article where someone pointed out Jon is a tad bit, it was Sophie Turner who said this in an interview, that Jon has a slightly sexist point of view, which is fair because that's the not fair, but it's the norm in Westeros. So it's kind of natural that he would have that kind of mindset, and he doesn't really take her opinion seriously because she's a woman. But on the other hand, Sansa is not sort of judging Jon's worth and is sort of just dismissing him as another like ignorant, honorable Stark like Robb or Ned, when he's actually has a lot to bring to the table. And I don't think she quite takes the White Walker threat as seriously as she should, which is a lot of people who hate Sansa pointed out that. And that's a good point too. So again, I lie in the middle. I think they're both right and they're both wrong, and I'm more irritated with both of them for not working together. But hopefully we will see them working together by season 8, because I think they'd be a great team once they do. Sly Quick says, very interesting opinion. I'm still not sure whether Arya will not just butt heads with Sansa. Oh, they definitely will butt heads. No doubt about that. Sansa and Arya never got along. They always had, but I have a feeling that even though there's definitely going to be conflict between them, that Arya might sort of change Sansa's mindset, especially pertaining to Jon Snow, because Arya's always been closer to Jon Snow, so it seems like she would be more of an advocate for him, and she knows him a lot more, which is why I'm still really hoping we will get an Arya and Jon Snow reunion in season 7, although that's looking unlikely if you know the spoilers and considering where they might be at the times. But I'm, with the little fingers teleporter, anything's possible. That's my way of saying it. Let's see. Fifi Max says, I hate Sansa. Yeah, a lot of Sansa. And Marilyn Bentley says, I hated Catelyn too. Sorry, everyone. You were probably here for Don Willie's rants on Catelyn. I think he did an entire video about how much he hates Catelyn. I didn't hate Catelyn. I wasn't that big into her either. Like, I know some people like loved her and was really sad she died at the Red Wedding. I didn't really care that much about her dying at the Red Wedding. I was more of a Robb Stark fan. I was more upset that he died. Like, kill Catelyn all you want, just don't fucking kill Robb Stark. And that was the showrunner, because that was before I read the book. So that's the show watcher viewpoint, because in the books they made it pretty clear Robb Stark was not an important character because he had no viewpoint chapters. He hardly ever appeared at all. In fact, I think I noticed is that Edmure Tully and the Blackfish appear more in the books than Robb Stark does, which is the vast difference from the show. The show, Edmure and Blackfish don't even appear till season 3, where they're in book 1. So they're in the book a hell of a lot more, and Robb Stark is hardly in the book, whereas Robb Stark is in the show a hell of a lot more. And I actually like that. And just from watching the show, because like the first three seasons, I hadn't read the books yet. So I was a huge Robb Stark fan. I had no idea that he was so dispensable, because in the books he was. Because I think the show did a great job. I really liked the actor who did him. I was all team Robb Stark. I would even go as far to say I liked Robb Stark better than Ned. I was a huge Robb Stark fan. So that's what upset me about the Red Wedding, not Catelyn. I don't care about her. Kill her. But I never really hated Catelyn, though. I never was on this board like like Don Willie was going off on rants. Fuck Catelyn. Like, that's fine. I don't know. I never just got that much hate on it either. Mitch Corbin says, I hear the phrase frozen waves was left out of the show. I'm not entirely sure what that refers to be perfectly honest. Okay. Well, I'm a bit behind on the chat, just trying to get caught up. Fifi Max says, do you think we'll see more of Bran Stark flashbacks? Most definitely. Most definitely. Now, whether or not they'll get into as much detail as they have in season 6, I don't know. We'll see. But we'll definitely get something this season, no doubt. Sly Quick says, my theory in season, Dany sits down to an earthquake and a look of shock followed by cuts of the whole kingdom, followed by the wall coming down, fades out to the Night King's eye. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to dismiss it. That's a good theory. It's entirely possible. I personally probably wouldn't back in and say that's likely. Sorry, excuse me. But who knows? Could happen. Let's see. Marilyn Bentley says, Mitch Corbin, yes, the Hound fire reading. I love the Hound scenes in episode 1. Very interesting. Yeah, I actually thought they did very well with the Hound scenes. I know some people might think it was boring. I thought it was great. I thought it was really great in showing how much this character has changed. So it does make me, like Apkin was even saying, he was wondering if this means that the Hound's going to be an important character going forward to the end game. I think that's entirely possible. It does make me want to see a lot more of him. Mitch Corbin says they just walk around the wall. That's possible. That is possible. Some people, they are going by Eastwatch by the Sea, although I don't think they could walk. They might have the boat. I'm not sure if there's, I think the wall ends right at the sea, so unless they freeze the water, and I don't know. I don't know the logistics of that, but just from the way the foreshadowing, like before, like if you know my channel before, I was saying that the wall wouldn't come down. In my predictions video, I said the wall is not coming down, but after seeing episode 1, I changed my mind, because that line of dialogue when he's like, "Oh, the wall's been here for thousands of years," yeah, it's coming down. You put a line like that in the show, and coupled, and I just rewatched season 6 with the line where John leaves what's it called, Castle Black, and it says, Ed, you have the wall, try not to knock it down while I'm gone. Come on. You have that and that other line. That is definitely strong foreshadowing that wall is coming down. As I said, I don't think it's going to be the entire wall. In fact, I think that would be silly. I'd rather it just be like a piece of the wall, but we'll see. We will see. Marilyn Bentley says, I watched Don's video about Catelyn sucking. Sure, you enjoyed that. Colonel Doomsday says, good people die, Mark, even in real, like, sad to say. That is entirely true, and that's what makes Game of Thrones so great, is that it's realistic, and that it can, and, like, I ultimately look back on Robb Stark dying as a good thing. Well, good for the show, obviously, because they were managed to take that, build off that and build in a good direction. I was really pissed off at the time. Like, I talked about this before in other videos, but when I watched the Reigns of Castamere, the Red Wedding episode, I was at film school at the time, and we had a little cinema where we could watch on our free time and our off time. We could watch any movies or whatever, and we were watching that episode with like a group of like 20 people or so, and we should have been filming our reactions because we could have put that up on YouTube, because our reactions were like almost more golden than some of these other YouTube videos you see, because there's this one guy who's just going the whole entire time the Red Wedding was happening, was going, no, and this other guy was like, freaking out. And my reaction, like as soon as the credits hit, I got up and just let out a string of swear words. I was like, motherfuck, bitch, cunt, shit, fuck it. So my reaction wasn't to be sad or to cry or be shocked. It was to be pissed, because the whole entire episode I was like, please don't kill Robb Stark, please don't kill Robb Stark, because I knew from some like of the buzz on the internet that this was a huge episode and something huge was going to happen at the end of the episode, and the episode was focusing on Robb going to the twins for this wedding, and I was like, please don't kill Robb Stark, please don't kill Robb Stark the entire time. So when they did, I was like, man, fuck, god damn it. But looking back on it, it's what made Game of Thrones so great, is that you can have your heroes like that be killed off, and the good people who should rightfully, win the day just die miserably. And that's great. That's what sets it apart from like Lord of the Rings, which I still love Lord of the Rings, but other sort of fantasy epics, or even in fact most movies where the hero and the good guys always win. And so I don't know, but there are some people in Game of Thrones that do seem unkillable, like Jon Snow, Daenerys, and Tyrion. I think they're more of I think they were sort of always the focus, but they were sort of more having a long story, especially people like Jon Snow and Sansa and Arya. There was more of a long pitch where they have a slow build. So the first couple of seasons would focus more on these other characters who were doomed, like Stannis or Ned Stark or Tywin, but they're like the old generation and that's so slowly building these characters. So I think all those other characters, the main ones now who seem unkillable, like Daenerys, Tyrion, Jon, and like Arya, Sansa, I think all those will make it to the end, but not necessarily survive the end. I think I have my specific predictions. You can check out my channel, whatever, for which ones will live and die at the very end. But I think all of them will make it. And Cersei, like before, I was saying I was even counting Cersei out at season 7. In fact, some people are still saying that she'll die in season 7. But I think Cersei is an in-game player too, and Jaime. But but just because they make it to the end doesn't mean they'll survive. And I think that counts for Tyrion. Like a lot of people are saying, oh, George R. R. Martin loves Tyrion. There's no way he's going to kill him. Well, no, but I agree in the sense that he'll survive to the end, but whether or not he's actually survives the end is another question entirely. I could totally see them killing him off in the very last episode or the very last book. But I predicted that he won't, though. I predicted that he will. Originally, I was predicting that he would die, but now I changed my mind, saying that he will live past the end. But I'm not opposed to the possibility of him dying at the end, but I am opposed to the possibility of him dying this season. Like some people, I don't want to get too much into spoilers. So I was about to do a video about that later today, but some people were speculating on who the gift Euron said to Cersei was, and some people were saying, oh, it's Tyrion. Like, do people really believe that fucking Euron is going to kill Tyrion in season 7? Come on. That's not going to happen. Never going to happen. Come on. Anyway, I've rambled a bit, got behind in the chat. Let's see if trying to get caught up. Colonel Deuce says, I would love to see your reaction, Mark. Yeah, I should actually tape my reactions sometimes, especially to these later episodes, like the Battle of the Bastards, like the Daenerys scenes when the dragons came to Marine, like the whole time I was like, oh! I was literally, no exaggeration, I was like that. And this opening scene of the season this year with Arya when she killed the Freys, like the whole time I was like, yes, like. And if I did make a film myself, though, I bet you a lot of people would be like, "Oh, you're acting. You're overplaying it for the camera because you know people are watching." But that wouldn't be true because that's how I act when no one's watching. That's just my general reaction. But yeah, let's see what else is going in the chat. Marilyn Bentley says, I will say this about Sansa in season 7, episode 1. She was spot on about Ned and Rob warning Jon about their mistakes. Sad but true. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I agree that she's not totally in the right, and Jon does have some good points as well, but that was a good point on Sansa's part. And then Mitch says she shut down the Littlefinger fast. Yeah, that was cool too. I love that little burn she gave him. That was great. Let me see if I can catch up. This says, Mark, one of my favorite videos of yours was your best of Mark ranting. Almost pissed my pants. I would love watching it over and over again. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. That's why I made that video, because it was requested by some people who apparently love to hear me rant. I did think I missed out on some good rants just because I couldn't remember them all. My memory is a bit hazy. I just went to the ones I remembered. I think some of my Star Trek rants are my best. I know a lot of people don't follow Star Trek, but one of these days I'm actually thinking about doing. And maybe I'll do this on the Facebook. Again, you should like my Facebook page if you haven't. Is doing a list for those who haven't seen Star Trek, because I know a lot of people haven't seen Star Trek and they hear me talk about it, hear other people talk about it, and say, oh, wondering what the fuss is about, but they're not sure how to attack this beast, because you're talking about 5 TV series with like over 100 episodes, some of them 200 episodes per show, and like 12, 14 movies. That's a very daunting sort of thing to try to bite into if you don't really know anything about it. Which is, I suppose, why they made these reboots, to make it more appealing to general audiences. But the reboots are shit. Don't watch those. That's not real Star Trek. That's just fake bullshit action sci-fi. What you got? Committee, movie by committee. It's made by committee. It's made by Suits saying, this would be interesting if we put a Nokia phone cameo. Yeah. Fuck those reboots. So what I was thinking about doing is doing a list of recommended episodes to watch. If you've never seen Star Trek, like a guide, it would be a lot of viewing, but it would be a hell of a lot less than if you were going to watch everything. And it would give you all the bare bones of what you need to know about what's going on with Star Trek and why it's so great. So basically, like, recommend maybe 5 episodes or 6 of the original series, because I'm not that into the original series, just to give you a taste of the original series and some of the original series movies, and then a bit more episodes of like Next Generation, maybe like 6 or 7 per season, and same with Deep Space Nine and Voyager, and then like a few Enterprise stuff. Skip the first 2 seasons because they're shit. So I was thinking about doing this. So you guys let me know if that sounds interesting. So I might maybe one of these days I'll put that list up on my Facebook page, or maybe even make a YouTube video about it, saying if you know nothing about Star Trek, here's a list of recommended episodes, because it's on Netflix now. Everyone has easy access on it, so they can just go on Netflix and just click on these recommended episodes. I don't know if anyone would actually do that, but I don't know. I think it might be interesting to do that. Oh, cool. So I've diverted to talking about Star Trek, and all of you, I'm sure, just want to hear me talk about Game of Thrones. Let's see. What's going on in the chats? Hayes494, will you ever do a review of Doctor Who, or at least who's the best Doctor companion? No, I don't watch Doctor Who. Sorry to say, and it's funny because I was just talking about Star Trek being this big beast that's hard to attack. That's actually how I look at Doctor Who. Doctor Who is this huge beast with episodes upon episodes. It looks daunting, and whenever I look at it, I'm just like, no. And to be perfectly honest, from what I gleaned of Doctor Who, it doesn't seem like my thing. I'm not, I can't say it's bad because I never watched it, but I will say it doesn't look that appealing to me, and I just have so much other things to get caught up on. So that's why I don't do Doctor Who videos, because I never watched Doctor Who before. So that explains that. Let's see. What else is going on? Iron Trent says J.J. Lynn Flair's blockbuster space action. Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, talking about fan movies and extended books and such. Yeah, I mean, if you're just getting into Star Trek, you don't want to think about any of that. That's for the higher tier and more experienced Star Trek fan. I actually never really bothered that much with the fan made stuff. I haven't checked out the New Voyages thing, so I can't say if that was good or not. But I checked out some of these other ones, like the Gods and what's it called? I can't even remember what it's called. It's like Gods and Men or Gods and Monsters or whatever. And the Renegades. A for effort. That's all I'll say. I don't want to discourage them, but of course, fucking CBS has shut down all that sort of thing because they're a fucking evil corporation now. But there you go. Let's see. Iron Tron says that's a good idea for current Trek viewers as a refresher. Oh yeah. Could be, yeah, if you haven't seen it in a while and sort of want to sort of refresh. Yeah, so maybe I'll do that when I get time, which probably won't be anytime soon, but we'll see. Jay Madden says, I've never seen Star Trek outside of a few of the original episodes. Yeah, you should definitely check out Next Generation Deep Space Nine. That's where it gets really good, in my opinion. But maybe I'm just blinded by nostalgia. Could be. Who says cool cat? Oh, somebody says, Mitch Corbin's cool cat. Yes, yeah, I quite like my cat. I was almost going to do a video one time. So I'll bring him up, and he's going to meow at me. Trying to find his. Here we go. I was going to do a video once where I was going to just put the camera on him and say, I roared into the cat, and just talking to the microphone. Well, the camera's on the cat, but, come here, Blue. Feeding my cat's treats. Try to get him in the shot, but he won't stay in the shot. Come here. All right. Carl Dune says, I can't see you getting into Doctor Who, Mark. And I'm a classic Whovian myself. Oh, Whovian. Really? Okay. Well, that's if you don't think that's really my thing, because it doesn't look like my thing either. Hayes494 says, I love Star Trek and Stargate much more than Doctor Who. I just started watching Doctor Who on Amazon. Just had to ask you. Oh, okay. Well, fair enough. Yeah, I have done a few Stargate stuff. My Stargate videos are actually getting quite a few views. But they're not very hard. Colonel Doomsday says, cats are smarter than humans, Mark. Are they? I suppose so. No, I don't know if they're smarter. Maybe they're smarter because they don't give a shit. That might make them smarter. Iron Trent says, the Dominion War. Yes, the Dominion War was great. Definitely need to watch Deep Space Nine for the Dominion War. There we go. Oh, there's a new Stargate coming. I did not know. Oh, wait. Hold on. Wait a second. I'll have to stop you there. Are you talking about the reboot films? done by Roman Emmerich, because if that's what you're talking about, then fuck that. I have no interest for that. Now, this is a bit more tricky if you're talking about reboot with Roman Emmerich, because Roman Emmerich made the first Stargate movie in which the entire franchise is based. So it's kind of hard to say it's a reboot. Well, actually, it is a reboot because he would redo the first one. So what he's talking about doing is the first Stargate movie. He always planned it as a trilogy, he said. And now it's been like it's been over 20 years, so he doesn't want to do a sequel 20 years later. He wants to do concurrent sequels. So in order to do that, he'd have to redo the first film in order to make 3 films concurrently with the same actors and not have them age 20 years or something like that, or recast them or anything like that. But here's the thing about that, and why I have absolutely zero interest in that, is because I actually am not a huge fan of the first Stargate film. I actually liked Stargate for the television series, and I thought the television series took what was a good idea that was kind of done mediocre and turned it into a very expansive, interesting, ongoing sci-fi series. So I actually much preferred the TV shows, SG-1, Atlantis, and Universe. I love Universe. Than the original movie. And what these reboots are going to do is erase the TV show, because Roman Emmerich didn't have anything to do with the TV shows. He just made the original movie. So he wants to do his own vision that he had always planned, and the TV shows were just a side thing and took it off in a different way. And that's why I have no interest in it, because I don't like the original movie. And to be perfectly honest, I don't like Roman Emmerich. He's not a very good filmmaker. All of his films are shallow. Like, a lot of people loved Independence Day, but I think it's a bit overrated, to be honest. And the sequel's garbage. He did the what's the most recent one he did? 2012. That was a giant flaming piece of garbage. And Day After Tomorrow was okay, but he's not. I don't like his films. I don't want to see him do Stargate. I don't care that he was the one who came up with the idea, because it was an interesting idea, but the original Stargate film was just okay. Like, I would probably give it like a 6 out of 10, because the thing I think about the original Stargate is it was a good idea, but it wasn't done right, which is why I love the show, because it's based off of a good idea, but it actually does it justice, where I don't think the original movie did this good idea justice. And so I don't want to fucking see his goddamn vision. I have no interest in that. So I'd rather they continue Stargate Universe, because that still remains one of the best shows of all time, in my opinion. I just got a comment recently on my Stargate Universe review where someone was saying, "Oh, who hates Stargate Universe?" I haven't seen these Stargate Universe hate. Go on these Stargate fan websites. You'll see tons of Universe hate. All the Atlantis fans and the SG-1 fans, they're like, oh, they can't stand the Universe because it was different. It's trying to be like Battlestar Galactica, which is bullshit, because it was trying to be like Lost. But not Battlestar Galactica, Lost. But anyway, I thought Universe was by far the best Stargate thing. And I know, like, a lot of the hardcore fans will be like, blasphemy, but screw them. That's what I think. Yeah. So I'd much rather see them continue Stargate Universe than to see Roman Emmerich's reboots. I have zero interest in that, but unfortunately, studio money, that's the way things are going. So whatever. I might watch it just so I can trash it. I don't know. I'll give it a fair shot, but I'm pretty sure, fairly certain, that they're going to be shit, because Roman Emmerich is not a good filmmaker. So yeah, sorry, got off on a rant there with the Stargate. Let me backtrack here. So Iron Tron is saying, no, Stargate Origins. Okay, I haven't heard about Stargate Origins. I heard about the Roman Emmerich reboot thing. So let me Google this now, because I'm curious what Stargate Origins is, because I haven't heard of that one before. Stargate Origins. And again, I'd rather just see Universe continue, because they never got to finish telling that story. Stargate is coming back as a digital-only prequel series. A prequel series? Well, at least I'd rather see Universe continued. But I don't know. It's better. It'd probably be better than the Roman Emmerich bullshit. I'll definitely watch it. I'll give it a shot. I'll read about it later when I'm not doing a live chat. Let's see what else is going on in the chat. It was announced at Comic-Con today. Okay. Yeah, I'm not privy to all the Comic-Con goings-ons. But yeah, that's interesting. A 10-part MGM TV series when they found the Stargate back in Egypt. Yeah, I don't know. Still doesn't sound that interesting to me, but I'll give it a shot. I'll see what's going. Iron Trent says if Stargate Universe was in the 13th episode era, it would have probably survived. I don't know. It was very similar to Lost, and I don't care what anyone says. It was not ripping off Battlestar Galactica. It was borrowing a bit from Battlestar Galactica, but it was totally ripping off Lost. That being said, I think it was original enough. And Lost was a 24 episode season, so it's similar in that regard. It was also 24. But I do agree it would have been better suited for a 13 episode. I wish that they would have just gave it another season or at least a 2-hour special just to finish off the story, because that's what they're doing with Sense8. Because Sense8 just got canceled, and that was originally supposed to be a 5-season arc, like it was all planned out. But they're giving Sense8 a 2-hour finishing special, so to finish up the story. Now, my brother thinks it's going to suck because he thinks that there's way too much story to wrap up in just one 2-hour special. But I don't know. I'll see. I'm more open-minded. I think it's a possibility it could be good. Totally depends. Like season 2 wasn't that great. There was a lot of it felt very rushed, but I think it's because they were too rushed. There was too much, trying to do much with the 2-hour, and they have a lot more time to take their time and do it properly. I think it could be good, but I'm just glad that they are wrapping up the series, that they are giving them the chance to end the story, which is what I wish they would have done with Stargate Universe. Like at one point they were talking about doing a made-for-TV or straight-to-DVD Stargate movie that would feature Atlantis, SG-1, and Universe characters, and they were going to try to wrap up the Universe story in that. But that sounds dumb. Don't do that. Don't include SG-1. Just finish up Universe with Universe instead of trying. That sounds like trying to do way too much in a 2-hour movie. No. I'm glad they didn't do that. That would have been crap. Hayes494 says Nicholas Myers said that he's planning another Star Trek project unrelated to Discovery. What do you think it is? Is it a plan B in case Discovery is canceled? Actually, I don't think so. I think it might be, but my guess is it probably would only go forward if Discovery does good. Because if Discovery does horrible, then that might prove to the bigwig suits or whatever that people aren't into Star Trek, and the Star Trek's not a viable property anymore, so it might get canned. I reckon that will probably be more likely to happen if Discovery does well. Or it could be like Discovery does well to begin with, proving that there's a sort of fan base for Star Trek, but if it slides in ratings, then that has more to do with Discovery itself. So they might say, well, let's give another better option a try. I'm still very open-minded about Discovery as well. Because we're talking about 13 episode arcs, and Discovery does 13 is talking about doing that, doing shorter serialized arcs. So I think it has the potential to be really good. I think some people are making good points about all the people who are shitting all over it before it's even released, because I don't shit on stuff before it's released. I shit on the JJ reboots now because I've seen them and I know they're shit. But before they were released, I was very open-minded about it. And I'm very open-minded about Discovery too, because some people were rightfully pointing out that people were shitting all over Next Generation for before that was released, and even after the first 2 years, because the first 2 years Next Generation were shit. But imagine if they would have canceled Next Generation back when everyone was shitting on it. We wouldn't have this great and wonderful franchise that we have now. Star Trek would have died there. So give something a try. That's what I say. And same with Enterprise. Like the first two seasons were total shit. Now the last two seasons I did like, but I agree with Phil on this matter that even though the last two seasons were good, they were still held back by the dumb premise and the flat characters. So it wasn't still not one of the better Star Trek shows, but it is amazing how much better it got in the last two seasons. Right. Probably really far behind. Cardinal Doomsday says that wasn't a rant, that was a tangent, my friend. Did I say rant? Oh, I guess you're right. It was more of a tangent, but I think it was a bit of a rant. Come on, I was ranting about freaking Roman Emmerich. Come on, you can't say I wasn't ranting about Roman Emmerich. Anyway, let's see. Oh, yes. Jerome says, did anyone see the Disaster Artist trailer? I most certainly did. No, actually, sorry. I did. I did not see it. I did hit her. I did not. Yes. The Disaster Artist teaser was awesome. Even though I haven't watched The Room like from start to finish, but I saw so many clips and I saw so many breakdowns of it and reviews that like I feel like I've seen the gist of it. I've seen most of it. So, but I do want to sit down and watch the whole thing from start to finish before I watch the Disaster Artist, which I don't know. I was actually thinking that would be more of a documentary. Now it looks more like a scripted fiction. I don't know. Some people are saying it might be a mockumentary, which still doesn't sound as interesting to me. I thought it would be like just, James Franco being a host, being, hi, we're looking into it. But instead, he's actually playing that dude. What's this dude? Tommy Wiseau, which is good. I'm still open to it because that teaser was really funny. And plus, I'm really sick of Seth Rogen in general. Just general statement, but it looks good. It does look good. It was a very funny teaser, so I am excited to see it. Byron Bunny says, wonder if we'll ever see Saldor Sen again. Probably spelled his name all wrong. Probably not. I would say he kind of disappeared. Like, he was only in season 2, basically, and he had his brief cameo in season 4, and I thought they were going to bring him back then, but they didn't. He just disappeared. So I don't know. I think they changed their minds after having that brief cameo in season 4 and being like, yeah, we don't want him in the show anymore. So I really, really don't expect to ever see him again. Iron Trent says, that was a proper rant. Thank you. Iron Trent says it was too late for the Xindi War to save them. Nah, I really love the Xindi War, but it's still, Enterprise is still held back by just flat characters and bad premise. Let's see. Jerome says, you read the book written by Greg Sestero is what the movie is based on. I haven't read the book, but I've heard of it. So I know that the movie is based on that book played by the guy who plays Mark, right? Oh, hi, Mark. You don't know how many people say that to me. That's how I first heard of The Room, is because so many people would be like, oh, hi, Mark, when they see me. And it was obvious they were referencing something, and I had no idea. So now I get it. I know what the rest of the thing was. That I did not hit her. I did not do it. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark. Yeah. Jerome said this from the perspective of the guy who played Mark. Is he in this movie? I think I almost saw him. Is he playing himself in the Disaster Artist, or is it just someone who looks like him? I thought that was maybe him playing himself. Well, but speaking of tangents, how long have I been tangenting on for forever? When I first came on to do this video, I thought I'm just going to rant forever. Although the main point was to talk about my Patreon. Maybe I should make a more shorter, succinct video to put up on the Patreon page, telling people what they want, because this video is probably way too long and ranty and tangenty, yeah, to put on my Patreon page. So I might make another. But people who want to know about my Patreon will just watch the start of the video and they'll see it. I lay it all out. But yeah, because I didn't have enough space on my page to lay out my conditions on the request. So I think maybe I should make a shorter video that lays it out. But as I said, it's very, very simple. Just something relevant to what I review and something that doesn't require too much research. Basically, that's it. Basically. Oh, Duran says no, it's James Franco's brother, Dave Franco. Oh, okay. I thought he looked like Mark. Oh, I thought that would have been cool. They got the same actor who played them. Colonel Doomsday says, I have no idea what you're talking about with this high mark thing. Oh, yeah. Well, then you have to watch The Room. Well, I still have to watch The Room, or at least watch some research The Room. Maybe watch a 5-minute YouTube video about The Room. It's supposed to be the worst movie ever made, and it was so horrible. It's become a cult classic. They actually have like monthly screenings of it here in Wellington. And I think the cinema is shutting down that does that. So maybe I should go see it before it shuts down. And where people, it's almost like a Rocky Horror Picture Show where people dress up and they show up and throw stuff at the screen and yell out at the certain times. And it would probably be a pretty cool experience because it's become a cult classic because it's basically the worst movie ever made. Like if you watch it, like the audio's out of sync with the lips, it's like very bad, and the plot makes absolutely no sense. The acting is horrendous, and it's just so it'd be great to see a thing. I mean, do I have to? No, Colonel Doomsday, you don't have to. You don't have to do anything. You can do whatever you like. But if you would like to know what this high mark thing is about, you can check it out. John says, the guy who played the drug dealer, Where's My Fucking Money, is being played by Zac Efron. Oh, see, I don't know who that guy is because I haven't seen the whole movie. So I guess I need to go see the whole movie, and then I'll know who you're talking about. Also, I'm not entirely sure who Zac Efron is. I've heard the name, but I'm not really into modern comedies, to be honest. I don't keep track of all these celebrities who are mostly in comedies. Like Channing Tatum is another one I just heard of. I didn't like the 21 Jump Street stuff. Now I'm really going off on a tangent. That is highly tangent. Hey, Allison Fordyce, what's up? Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I'm just ranting now. The video is originally supposed to be about my Patreon. If you want to learn about that, you can watch the start of it. But now I'm just going off on rants and tangents in the chat. What's going on? And Hayes494 says, what do you think of the Makos on Enterprise? Was it a smart decision for season 3 or not? I would love to see them again, or Section 31. I didn't like what Enterprise did with Section 31. I'll just say that first off. I think that was a bit cheesy. But with the Makos, it was interesting. It did bring up questions of whether or not they had Makos in the future of Starfleet, or was it just pre-Federation thing? It was an interesting idea, but what the hell were they doing before? If there's like peace on Earth and no wars on Earth, but they never left Earth before, why did they exist? That's what I was a bit confused on. But I think it did, as far as like how it played out on episodes, I think it had a nice little dynamic to it, I suppose. I've been going for 80 minutes. I haven't even been keeping track of this shit. Okay. And Allison Fordyce, best known for High School Musical. Yeah, High School Musical. Yeah. That I've avoided like the plague, so no wonder I haven't heard of him. Shocked you don't know him. Just kidding. Yeah. By the way, you can just call me Allison. You don't have to be so fun. Well, I just say what it comes up on screen just because it's a whole name. on the screen. Plus, it will differentiate you from the other Allisons, like the Allison clone on Orphan Black. Don't know why I confused you with her, but there we go. But now, okay, I'll just call you Allison. Like Colonel Doomsday says, just call me Doomsday. I don't know. I just like it better. It's just easier for me to say the whole thing. I don't know. Plus, Doomsday, I think of that big monster thing from Batman v Superman, and that was pretty shitty. So, Colonel Doomsday is a better name. But anyway, I'm not sure about the Makos, but Section 31 annoyed me. Yeah, I will totally agree with you there. Since I'm definitely not the Allison clone. Well, that's good to know. Have you been watching Orphan Black? Because I missed a couple episodes. Do you think that show sucks? Because am I alone? I feel like I'm alone in thinking that season 5 sucks because I thought season 4 was amazing, and Orphan Black's always worth watching just for Tatiana Maslany. I think I got that right. Amazing actress. She does an amazing job. She plays like 5 or 6 clones, and she does such a unique job in making each character, even though she's playing every one distinctly different. It's amazing, and that's why it's worth watching in the show. But it's also helpful if the storyline's good, and the storyline is fucking shit this year. Last year was great, but this year I find it a chore to watch, and a lot of these fans were berating me. Oh, you just don't understand it, blah 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 blah. And if someone wants to like it, I'm not going to say you're not allowed to like it, but me personally, I just don't. I think this just thought they went in a bad way. Well, your name might be older than Batman v Superman, but the character of Doomsday is older than Batman v Superman too. He was in the comic books for many, many years. Probably predates your screen name. I'll see. And Jerome says, "Oh my God, Walking Dead trailer today! Can't wait! Best show ever!" Episode later, never mind. Oh, was there a new Walking Dead trailer? I have zero interest in seeing that. Zero, none, no interest whatsoever. And I'm like, my interest on The Walking Dead is hanging on a thread. That's another thing people disagree with me about. Okay, all right. I gotta mention this thing. All right, sometimes I like to talk about some of these comments I get. I share with you guys, my loyal viewers, who are sitting with me for like 90 minutes, whatever I've been going for. But anyway, I got this comment. I did this video like 3 or 4 years ago when I first started doing Enchantment of Eternity on a regular basis, called the 5 most overrated TV shows. Number 5 was 24. Number 4 was Firefly. Number 3 was The Walking Dead. Number 2 was Mad Men, and number 1 was The Wire. If I were to do that video again now, I'd probably put in shows like Westworld and Stranger Things, which I know would piss a lot of people off. But God, especially Stranger Things. Come on. I liked it, but 80s nostalgia only takes you so far. And Westworld, yeah, it's a great show, not as great as everyone that is making it out to be, though. Nowhere near. But anyway, so those are the 5 shows I put in my most overrated thing, because I made this like 3 or 4 years ago. And The Walking Dead was number 3, and ironically, this was before The Walking Dead really started to suck. So I'd probably put The Walking Dead even higher on that list now, to be perfectly frank. But recently, I've been getting some comments on that video saying, "Where's Game of Thrones? Game of Thrones should be number 1." And people were like, "If Game of Thrones isn't number 1, then this list is shit." And whatever. I mean, I guess everyone has their different opinions, but my opinion is Game of Thrones isn't the least bit overrated, not by a long shot. Not by, I know, I can't say it's underrated, no, because it's so ridiculously hyped now. But I think it deserves the hype. I think there's a reason it gets the hype. It totally deserves it. But anyway, whatever. People want to post an opinion on my video, go ahead. Whatever. I couldn't disagree with it more, but, go ahead. But I had this person you know, they were commenting on all these other things, saying how much better The Walking Dead was than Game of Thrones. And they made this comment. I can't remember what the initial comment was, but I responded to it. And then they responded to me saying that Walking Dead was better than Game of Thrones in every way. And he listed all these aspects like character development, acting, set design, story, pacing, and all these things. He said that Walking Dead outshined Game of Thrones and everything. And all right, my response, I kind of regret it because I was a bit of an asshole. And I try to be respectful to other people's opinions always, even if I very strongly disagree with them. But my honest original, like my actual reaction of reading that comment was just to laugh hysterically, like not like kidding, not being rude, but I just thought that was the funniest thing ever. Like saying that the Walking Dead has better character development than fucking Game of Thrones. To me, that is akin to saying that the Transformers 2 is better than the Shawshank Redemption. Like, I mean, how do you respond to someone who says that Transformers 2 is better than the Shawshank Redemption? Other than to just laugh and dismiss them as naive. And I feel like an asshole even saying this now, but I can't help but feel this way. I mean, I think the Game of Thrones quality being better than Walking Dead is almost not even subjective. I would even call it an objective fact. And I always try to be respectful of other people's opinions. And maybe they just love zombies and but to say it has better character, I mean, I can understand someone saying I prefer watching The Walking Dead to Game of Thrones because I'm not into fantasy and I like zombies and I like the horror and I personally identify with the characters. That's fine. But to say that objectively has better character development, you're objectively wrong. You are objectively wrong. I don't want to be an ass, but I can't sugarcoat it. But anyway, so my response was to make a comment. The comment I put, I said, ha 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 ha, thank you so much. You really made me laugh, and I really needed this week. And after I said that, the guy deleted his original comment. He deleted the whole thing, and so I feel like a bit of an ass now for doing that because that was a sort of smart ass, snarky response, but it's honest what I think because I don't know. I try to be respectful of other people's opinion, but someone says Transformers is better than Shawshank Redemption makes it really hard. Anyway, let's look back and see what's going on in the chat. And Trent has the bell saying multiple trigger warning. I guess that's when I was talking about the overrated shows, probably Westworld and Stranger Things. I'll get more into that too. Marilyn says, I love Westworld. Sorry. Well, I don't think it's bad. I'll specify. It's the same with Afghan. In fact, me and Afghan got into arguments over who likes Westworld better because I think it's very clear that I like it better, but he thinks that we like it the same. But it doesn't. I mean, that's kind of a really petty argument, and I think we both agreed on that. And I even pointed that out. It's like, well, this is a petty argument to be having, but I still say I like it better. But I do like. I gave it an 8 out of 10. I put it as number 6 on the top 10 best shows of that year. So I love it. It's not a bad show, but most people would give it a 10 out of 10 and put it as number 1 or at least number 2 on a top 10 shows of the year. And that I just very strongly disagree with. 6 at best and 8 out of 10. It is a good show, but it's not the best thing ever. I think I was so pissed off with the Emmys. The Emmys gave fucking Westworld and Stranger Things way too many fucking nominations, and none for The Leftovers, none for The fucking Expanse, and they deserved it. Like, The Leftovers was the biggest snub that has me in outrage. Like, I'm sorry. I know a lot of people disagree, but I think The Leftovers is way better than Westworld. I know I'm the minority, I'm a weirdo, whatever, but I at least it should have gotten just as much, or even a fraction of the fucking acknowledgement that Westworld got. Just give fucking Leftovers 1 or 2 nods and have Westworld win whatever, fine, but at least acknowledge that the fucking Leftovers exist. And so fuck the Emmys, fuck them up the ass. Anyway, especially The Expanse. The Expanse is the most underrated television show ever. And we're talking about underrated. The Expanse, like the stuff with Miller and the fucking ship with the blue goo, that deserves some fucking Emmys. It's this stupid sci-fi channel Canadian show. Who cares about that? Fuck you, Emmys. Fuck you. Fucking way better than Stranger Things. Anyway, sorry. That was the rant I was going on. Carl Dune says opinions are like assholes. Mark, everyone has one. And everyone else, you forgot the other part of the saying. Everyone else thinks the other person's stinks. Let's see. Allison says, I lived in Baltimore for 11 years, so I'm pretty much obligated to love The Wire. But I would anyway. You may or may not know this, but I am originally from, now Apka might not like me saying this because it doesn't like giving personal information, but this is you guys here. I'm originally from the Baltimore area, and I didn't live in Baltimore per se, but the area, and that's where I grew up. I haven't been there since I was 18. No, I visit from time to time, but I haven't lived there since I was 23, which I'll leave you to guess how old I am now. But that's where I'm from. But I don't feel obligated to like The Wire. And again, I'm not saying that. See, here's the thing you understand about my overrated shows list is that I like all the shows on that list. And in fact, in order to be eligible for that list, I would have had to seen at least 70% of the shows. So I like all the shows. I just don't think they're as great as everyone else is. Like, I know Josh would probably have some harsh words for me putting Firefly on that list because I know that's his favorite show. And fair enough. Again, that's his opinion. But my opinion is not nearly as good as everyone else makes it out. But I still like it. And that's the thing is I still like The Wire. I still like all the shows on that list. I just don't think they deserve all the praise that they get. That's just me, especially The Wire. Like couldn't even watch the 5th season. Now, if a show has a season that I can't even watch, I have absolutely no interest in watching. This is not a great show, in my opinion. I'm sorry. A great show is something where, like, I can't wait to see the next episode. And like a drug addict, I want to see the next episode, and I never got like that with The Wire, which is why I never considered it a great show. People who think Game of Thrones or Lost or slow pace should watch The fucking Wire. That defines the term slow pace. I have never seen a show that is more slow paced than The Wire. And again, it's not knocking. It's still a great show. I still love some of the stuff in the show, but it make it a bit tedious to watch at times, to be perfectly honest. And some of the strength of The Wire is that how realistic it was, but that's also its greatest weakness because it's about police work, and realistically police work is boring. And so some of the times it's a bit too realistic and it was boring. So there you go. All right, let me get caught up in the chat. Let's see. Let's see. Hold on. 90 minutes and counting, Mark. And someone says Colonel Doomsday is the timekeeper today. Yeah, I don't care. I'm just going to blabber on for however long I fucking feel like it. I have my day off work. I'm supposed to I'm procrastinating from cleaning my room. That's what I'm doing. I was supposed to make a YouTube video today. I'll probably do that tonight, so it'll come out tomorrow about another Game of Thrones video. But yeah, I'm just procrastinating. I'd like going off on tangents and talking to you guys. But what else is going on in this chat? My cat's making the cameo. I haven't even noticed. Yeah, I was highlighting him earlier before he came in. Okay. Colonel Doomsday says, Mark, that's why I like you. You can always make me laugh out loud. Well, there you go. Jerome says, dude, I got more out of Sasha's character in the Star Trek Discovery trailer than 4 seasons of Sasha and Walking Dead. Oh, that's golden. That is absolutely fucking golden, and I could not agree more. Anyway, Hayes494 says, would you like to see a TV movie or miniseries on the origin of the Borg? I know you hate what the Borg became on Voyager. I do too. Might be interesting. I don't know. It depends. It all depends on if it's done right. It depends on how it's done. Like, if they do it in an interesting way, yeah, I think it could be great. But if they do it in a Voyager way that they handled the Borg and make him like Jar Jar Binks, and no. So it all depends on how it was handled, who was involved, who was writing. If you had good writers, good creative team behind it, could be awesome. But if you had like Rick Berman or some of these other people don't know how to fucking handle the Borg, then it could suck. So it all depends. Iron Trent says, I cannot unsee the way Yul Brynner walked in the original Westworld movie. Never actually seen the original Westworld movie. Let's see. Mark, then if you gave Westworld an 8 out of 10, why overrated? Because, I think I probably already covered this, but I'll just explain again. Because most people will give it a 10 out of 10. And maybe that sounds a bit petty, but some people, a lot of people are saying it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. And honestly, like if I was going to make up my favorite shows, it would not make the top 5. So I think that qualifies as overrated. But again, I want to be clear. I don't think it sucks. I still love it. I still like it, but I just don't think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. That's all. So that makes it overrated. And Mitch Corbin says Expanse is the bomb. Yes. Trying to get to. I'm actually planning, I'll give you the scoop here, as I'm actually planning on doing expanding. Expanding more into the Expanse with my channel, especially if the rumors are true and we're getting no Game of Thrones until 2019. That's the rumor that season 8 isn't coming out to 2019, but hopefully it's not true, but we'll see. Then I'm going to sort of, in that vacuum, I'm going to cover the Expanse more. I started reading the books. I've read the first books, Leviathan Wakes, and I'm currently reading the second one. And I bought the third one, but I'm being a bit slow. I'm still stuck on the second one. So I want to do some videos comparing the books to the show, and like I did with Game of Thrones, and maybe some Expanse theories. And so I want to do a lot more than just episode reviews for the Expanse, which is all I have been doing so far, and sort of expand more into the Expanse. I know other channels like Buzz Talks are covering Westworld more and doing more Westworld videos, and good on them. But as I said, I'm not a huge Westworld fan. I'm more into the Expanse. So I'm not going to do what's popular, what's going to get me more views. I'm going to do what I'm more interested in personally, what I wouldn't want to talk about, and that's the Expanse. So I'm probably going to do more videos on the Expanse. And again, if you're not, and that is the most underrated show. If you're not watching Expanse, that is probably my second favorite show behind Game of Thrones at the moment. So yeah. Iron Trent says I stopped opinion about The Leftovers because fans started crying. Well, if you're referring to me, then you're fucked. I love The Leftovers. Again, everyone has their different opinions. You don't like The Leftovers, fine, but I think it's one that, personally, I just watch and I think it's one of the greatest shows out there. And Colonel Doomsday says there's nothing wrong with being the weirdo. And more support for the Expanse. I'm probably really far behind in the chat. Scoop alert. Yeah, that's right. Let's see. Iron Trent says they could do a modern take on the Borg a la Cylons. That doesn't sound interesting to me. I'd rather they not, to be honest. But as I said, anything, if it's done right, could be work. So, but that idea itself doesn't sound very interesting to me. Oh, you've got a friend to write. Well, you're free to leave whenever you want, Cardinal Doomsday. Don't feel obligated to stay on my account, especially when I'm just ranting and raving. And you can always come back and watch it later. You're 15 years older than me? What? If that's true, that totally, I had no idea. Anyway, Iron Throne says, I think it was part of D&D's deal to have more time between the seasons, so 2019 is probably reasonable for season 8. Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised if that was the case. Cardinal Doomsday says, I listened to the first 2 Expanse books. Yeah, I'm listening. When I said I'm reading them, I'm not actually reading them. I subscribe to, what's it called? Audible. And so when I go for my walks, I listen to it on my phone. And so it's a good way for me to get exercise and read some books at the same time. But unfortunately, it's the weather's shit because it's winter here. And the weather's been, so I haven't been walking as much. So I haven't been listening to it as much. Like right now, we had this huge storm, and it's raining. I don't want to fucking go outside, which is probably why I'm in here talking to you guys. It never snows here. Like, it never ever. Like, if it does, it's like a national emergency. Oh my God. But we get the wind and rain. Like, it's the windiest city in the world. I was just looking up, and technically, like, they're saying Wellington is the windiest city in the world. Chicago's got nothing on us. So right now I'm getting some of that fucking wind. Let's see. Oh yeah, Iron Trent says in the U.S. it's on Amazon Prime, but here in New Zealand it's actually on Netflix. But they only have the first season. They don't have the second season. You have to. Anyway, I won't talk about how I watched the second season on this live chat. But first season's on Netflix. Let's see. Iron Trent says, oh yeah, I read that part already. Emo Borgs with triangle romance. Yeah. No, I want to see that. I know it's me, Colonel Doomsday, but you're still not obligated to stay. Do thank you for your support, though. Hashtag the weather is shit. Absolutely. Iron Trend says, yes, Allison Fordyce is a layered show. It's 2+ watchers per episode. What are you talking about? The Expanse? Oh, yeah, I'll admit I found The Expanse confusing at first, but when I went back and watched the whole first season, it made. Actually, I totally and completely and utterly agree with you. I had the same reaction when watching the first season of The Expanse. I was totally lost, and so I went back and read the book, and the book does so much better job of explaining everything, explaining what's going on. The show, I think if there's one fault in the show, it was a bit too confusing. They didn't do as good of a job sort of explaining what was going on. And I was really, even my reviews, I would get a lot of stuff wrong because at that point I hadn't read the books. And those who had would correct me and be like, actually, because it was hard to follow. But I think it improved upon that in season 2. Season 1, I think, was good, but season 2 was fucking amazing. Like, season 2, I think they improved upon a lot of stuff that was making it confusing. Season 2 was a lot more succinct, a lot easier to follow. I think the showrunners actually got better at adapting the show from book to show. In season 2, you can see them improve, and I think it's only going to get better going forward. The thing that scares me about The Expanse is that they're only on book 2 now, and they're starting season 3, and there's going to be like 7 or 8 books altogether. So they would have to have at least 8 seasons, and it scares me that the show is going to go for that long because it's so underrated and it's not as watched as it fucking should be. So I'm scared. Like, people were even worried it was even going to get a season 3. So they're worried about it getting the season 3. Now we have to worry about it going for 8 seasons. I really wanted to finish telling the story. So actually makes me curious about why they're going at such a slow pace. Because if you read the book, season 1 actually added so much stuff in order to pad the season that wasn't in the books. Like pretty much any like suspenseful storyline that was just there for an episode, like and the whole donkey ball sting, or and stuff like that was just added padding for the show in order to add sort of an element of suspense for each episode, because it's a different format. I understand why they did it, because it's a different format, episodic, but still they added so much stuff in, which is why they're only on book 2 now. So it does make me curious why they're stretching it out. Do they really think they're going to go for 10 seasons? I hope so, but I don't know. Realistically, I don't know. I just hate to see it end before it finishes. Image Corbin says the characters are great. Yes, absolutely. Let's see. All right, Mr. Timekeeper. I think I'm actually going to end the discussion here. The conversation's kind of died out in the chat, and my throat is getting a bit sore. I think I've only meant to pop one for about 20 minutes. It's been over an hour and a half. Well, thank you guys so much for sticking with me on my random rants and stuff and getting back to the thing. Become a patron, support me on Patreon, if you want to. I'm not going to pressure you, no pressure. But if you want to support my channel, I would be very much appreciated. Link is in the description below. You can watch the start of this video for the rewards you get. Also go to the page. The page will tell you what rewards you get anyway. But yes, thank you so much for coming to chat with me and shoot the shit, as they say. Mark, you spelled quality wrong on your Patreon post. Get the irony? Oh. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for letting me know so I can go and correct that so other people won't notice the irony. Yes, nearly an hour and 50 minutes. Okay. Thank you, Timekeeper. Yeah, but no, I'm gonna take off now. And yeah, it's good seeing you guys. Make sure to subscribe if you want, and I'll catch you later.